Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me in this podcast on a very important subject. And that is, of course, the spring detox, or specifically, we're going to talk about why to do a spring detox according to Ayurveda. Now, um, according to Ayurveda, of course, the spring is considered the king of all seasons, the best of all seasons, a time for new beginnings and fresh starts. After the cold, dry winter, our bodies are naturally ready to lighten up, relax, shed some weight. So it's just the best time to do weight loss, not during the winter when the body holds on to fat and tries to remain warm. And it's important to do cleansing the accumulated imbalances that created during the winter time. See, in the natural world shifts, then as the natural world shifts from kind of a cold, dry winter, to warm, moist spring, this change in temperature and humidity impacts the lungs and the respiratory system. And this can lead to respiratory congestion, breathing difficulties, colds, flu, and your sinuses were dry during the winter. And then in the spring, they produce mucus to compensate for the dryness. And this, of course, results in congestion. This buildup of mucus, or in Ayurveda, we associate that with kapha dosha. And spring is the time of kapha, which is the time where kapha increases because it's moist nature, and still coming off of the cold, cool winter, which you still can have cool winters at night and then moist, humid days in the day. Well, this mucus, when you hit the spring, starts to liquefy and exit the body, and this leads to symptoms like runny nose, cold, allergies, hay fever, nasal congestion, and even respiratory infection. So this means all allergies, our spring allergies, are heavily contributed to the congestion, or we could even say the lack of detoxing during the winter. During the spring. So if we're talking about what is the main benefit of a spring detox, it's going to be avoiding respiratory allergies and congestion in the spring. And if you have a history of allergies, then you need to do a spring detox anymore. But since it's a removing of congestion and blockages in the body, or the kapha dosha, this is the best time to lose weight. See, many people, try to just lose weight at the wrong time. Timing's everything in gardening, treatments, and many things in life. You can have it right, but if you do it at the wrong time, then it becomes ineffective and even unproductive. And definitely in doing cleanses, timing is very important. In fact, every fall, I do a fall rejuvenation to prepare the body for the winter. And this is the spring detoxification, to shed the mucus and the phlegm and the weight and the buildup that the body built up. Now, the colder your climate, the more you really need to be doing the cleanse, because the more extreme between the cold winter that you have and the hot summer, then the more you can get this mucus and congestion. The longer your winter is, then the more of the vata dosha, this cold, dry environment, last in your body. And it's somewhat, we could say, difficult on the body. This is the most difficult season, vata, because the wind's blowing, that's drying your skin. The temperature's cold, and that's affecting your circulation, even your digestion. So it's a difficult time for the body, and there's less sun outside. And then the spring comes, we have more sun, more warmth, and and literally, if you were in the mountains, the snow would melt and things. So humidity would go up. Some climates there'd be more rain instead of snow, so there's more moisture. So you have this combination of moisture and heat that just starts liquefying all this congestion that accumulated as the temperature is changing from cold to warm, as in changing from vata dosha period of time to kapha. And so, in fact, when I'm treating people, during the winter time, I'm aware that it's cold in their climate, and I'm aware that they're vata. So that's a vata time of year. So during the winter time, we don't do cleanses, we don't do detoxing, um, because it's not the time the body wants to detox. And it's not the time the body really wants to shed the weight. We can look at the animals like a chipmunks or squirrels. They will eat as much as they can in the fall, the nuts, and store as many nuts as they can and get them through the winter time. And they want to put on a little weight. Or the polar bear, he just fattens right up for the winter and then uses all this fat to kind of get through the winter. And then when spring comes, the chipmunk and polar bear can start to find food again. But for the chipmunk and the squirrel, they won't find the nuts, which are heavier and more fatty. They're going to find more little sprouts and, little berries and, smaller, more cleansing items than just nuts, because they're going to come later in the fall. So even the animals are doing cleanses. The deer, for example, when the spring comes, will even dig up the roots and eat the roots of dandelions. So the spring is the deer is doing a spring cleanse by eating dandelion roots and eating the little sprouts on the plants as they start to sprout new leaves. It would just be like us having sprouts on our salad and cleansing our body by having this, raw salad, raw vegetables. So the animals are all doing spring cleansing because they're living off the land. And so they're in tune. Now we aren't. We're just buying things in the supermarket without any consideration whether it's in season or not. But it's very important to change your diet in the winter. Now this talk, in the spring and in the winter, you should be adjusting your diet throughout the year. And the details of what to eat for your body type, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, we will do in another webinar, what to eat and how to detox your body. Here we're talking about the importance of it. And again, I'll emphasize that by doing these spring cleanse, it's those people who have respiratory issues, allergies, seasonal allergies, mucus, runny nose. They're the ones that need to do the spring cleanse more than others. And the other category is those who have excess weight. Many people try to lose weight during the winter time and it's tough going. You're going uphill. The body wants to hold on to the fat. You're trying to get off the fat, so that's why timing is so important with many things in life. But now spring comes, it's warm outside. You got the sunshine, all that vitamin D, you feel good. The days are longer. You feel more, you're not freezing, you're not cold, and maybe some mucus is coming out of you and clearing you out. And you just, the whole lymph gets moving, everything gets moving. And then you start eating salads and leafy greens and light vegetables, less heavy meat. And of course, spring is the kind of low grain period because grains are harvested in the fall, not in spring. And it's a time to have more fruit, more leafy greens, and this will naturally cleanse you, just like the animals do. They'll have the little berries and the little things, but they won't have certain things like nuts and grains and grains produced from leaves like corn and things like that are going to come much later in the year. So they're not suitable to eat during this time. But again, I don't want to talk too much about the details. And in another talk, I'll talk about what to eat by dosha because it's really dependent on the person. But we will say the person who's kapha, heavy, overweight with respiratory condition, they need to do the cleanse more than the other two types. Now, both types need to make adjustments. If you're pitta prakriti and your body tends to be warm and hot and you got burning sensation, in the summer when this heat comes out, you're going to have more cooling foods to keep this heat under control. Well, maybe in the winter time, the heat didn't bother you as much, but in the summer, it's going to bother you. So you want to start cooling the body down for the summer if you're pitta prakriti. Now, if you're vata prakriti and you're thin, just came out of winter, and maybe you became depleted, didn't get out as much, didn't get as much sunshine. It's a vata time of year. You're vata dominant. Maybe you lost, feel weak and fatigued and tired. So, we'll have a different effect on each person. But since we're going into the kapha period, it's basically a kapha pacifying diet. And it's the time when, I do cleanses with my patients out of my cleanse package, which is available online. I adjust their diet, whether vata, pitta, kapha, and then we give cleansing herbs, usually for the liver, the kidneys if they're swelling, and water retention. There can be more water retention in the spring. Want to get that water out, flushing out the kidneys, and your stools could have been dry and more constipated in the winter. So we're going to clean these bowels out, get things moving down there, and then sometimes the liver also needs to be treated. So case by case, I will give digestive herbs, liver herbs, colon herbs, or kidney herbs to just cleanse the person out. And if they're losing weight, maybe just weight loss herbs that will also support detoxification and movement of the lymph in the spring. And it's a time where I'll start encouraging weight loss, start encouraging fasting. Again, fasting, a wonderful tool, but people do it at the wrong time. But now is the time fast. Well, summer's even better when it's hot. Spring, we start detoxing, get it out, but get the systems moving, get the bowels moving, eat lighter, and we'll start losing a little weight. We'll feeling better. And then in the summertime, that's the time to fast. Summertime. So there's a time for everything. And now is the time to detox, cleanse out your colon, flush out your kidneys, rejuvenate your liver, lose a few pounds, and improve and avoid respiratory problems in the spring. In fact, I treat people with respiratory issues all year round with my herbs, but in the spring, we will sell double, triple the amount that we sell the rest of the year. Respiratory allergy formula, et cetera. Just respiratory tonic with mucus, respiratory tonic with no mucus, respiratory infection. All these, the sales will double and triple during the spring. And all these people could avoid it by doing the spring detox now. So some people have getting respiratory allergies year after year after year after year, respiratory congestion year after year after year. And then once they do the spring detox one time, they notice, wow, much better. And if they do it every year at spring, they can resolve their respiratory allergies. Now, of course, if you're my patient in the spring and you have respiratory allergies, I'll do the cleanse on you, plus give you the respiratory allergy herbs. And I'll change your diet because if you have respiratory allergies, then you can't have kapha increasing foods, mucus increasing foods. So that's the time to cut back on the dairy, the yogurt, the milk, the heavy foods. But again, we'll talk in greater detail about what to eat and what you can detox in the spring. But the first thing you have to get, and the whole purpose of this podcast, is to realize it's very important for your long-term health, and particularly for your respiratory system in the spring, and for weight loss for the whole year. If you don't do the cleanse, then every year you end up gaining more and more weight. Now, if you gain 5 pounds during the winter, you could lose the 5 pounds in the spring, and then you'd be just like the animals, going a little up in weight in the winter and little down in weight in the spring. Perfectly fine. And then, but if you don't, you just go up 5-10 pounds in the winter. You don't do the cleanse in the summer. It doesn't come down. So maybe you did your cleanse and fasting at the wrong time. And then next year you got another 10 pounds, then another 10 pounds, and another 10 pounds. So that's how it accumulates. Weight gain should take place at certain times of the year, but now is the time to lose it. So I hope I motivated you to do a spring detox, and hopefully you watch my other webinar, how to do a spring detox and what to eat by Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I inspired you to do a cleanse. My name's Kabir Southwick, Ayurvedic practitioner, Ayurvedic doctor, herbalist, Western and Indian, and in practice for 27 years, and founder of herbmanteas.com. Please contact me or my office if you have would like more information or assistance in your spring cleanse. Thank you very much.